to actually gain more fans?
And that's the thing. I don't want more fans of other people's music.
I
I
respect
respect
that.
other people's music, and people always wonder why I don't do covers at jam sessions or
Yeah.
freestyle. I freestyle everything for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you love that song already. I know you love that song already, but do you love me? Like, and like,
I can see that.
I want people to connect to my words. I want people to connect to me.
We don't think that's a good gateway for them to like find you, rather, or you know?
I've listened to covers of other artists, and like that be the way I found them.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I grew uninterested in their music and only really loved the cover. And then I asked myself, do I love the artist for their music, or do I love them because they perform this song really well? And I have two, I'm not going to name anybody, but like there's two artists and covers that I love.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, these artists are great. Big, huge stars now.
Yeah.
Only thing I know them for or connect to is that cover.
That's like me. One of my favorite artists, I found him through a cover that he did. But I ended up looking at or listening to his other music, and I just like, it's like, yo, this is fire. I mean, I feel like it happens, but I mean, you gotta know what you want to at the same time.
Yeah.
I respect your vision. You know what I mean? It's not
like my
being
music.
honest with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, like I want people to love my music. I put so much time and effort and pain, like real feeling and thought, and like these are my experiences in my life.
And Miles, because you're a globetrotter. You act like you ain't been all over the world, man.
I mean, like the first song that I wrote, the next one that's coming out, I wrote that one in London. I wrote Yulamido in Costa Rica. I wrote some here in
Philly.
Yeah, in Philly, and then of course like the bulk of my songs were written in my living room. But I feel like I'm traveling the world. I got this big photo of Paris on the wall, and then I keep little pieces of everywhere I've ever been.
As you should, man.
Yeah, just to kind of like allow me to tap into that energy. I remember when I got back from London, I don't promote smoking cigarettes or whatever, but I do. And I brought back the cigarettes from London. I wrote one of the best songs I ever written, Smoking London Cigarettes. I was so excited when I got back home from New York, and I just wanted to taste London one more time before I had to say goodbye to it. And I had just bought my first like $100 microphone, and I was like really excited. And London inspired me. So I wanted to like bring it back home and taste it and feel it and experience it just one more time. And then hear these words come following after it. But yeah, no, like I think like the places I've been have always inspired me, but it's more so the people that I meet, like in these places, and they're always like, it's always like, you know, just the cab driver, or I mean, my background before I started doing music was in hospitality, and I would meet 1,000 faces a day. You know, I walk into my office and I'd be like, oh man, I got like 200 check-ins today. I'm like, at first, you know, like that shit is my first reaction to it, right? But then I'm like, nah, who am I gonna meet today?
It's 200 opportunities right there.
What story are you gonna tell me? You know, where are you from? What type of food do you like? Growing up in my Muslim community, I was always exposed to kids from the Middle East or from French Guyana or all over the world, and especially like it's the month of Ramadan now, but as a child, the month of Ramadan was like a magical moment. You know, we would all get together in the masjid at the end of the night after we all prayed and get ready to break our fast, and there's these people from all over the world sitting down in a circle, and we're passing the food around, and everybody's picking the food, and we're all eating with our hands, and we just looking at each other and smiling and grinning, and they're from all over the world. And one of my first friends He was from Turkey. He was one of my first friends. I've never been to
That's
Turkey
dope.
before.
That's dope.
And he...
That's crazy. That was gonna be my next question too. Like, out of all the places that you, like, people that you've met, like, where would you want to, like, travel to?
I'm dying to go to Istanbul.
Yeah.
I'm dying to go to Istanbul. Or Constantinople, as I still recognize it. No, like I used to read about Alexander the Great or whatever in Constantinople.
Yeah. Istanbul has a lot of dope underground markets, bro. Like kind of like catacombs, but more lively. It's not like dead. You know what I mean? Like,
see like the skulls in the wall and everything.
It's like underground markets. South Africa has those too.
Like go to Ghana.
Yeah,
Ghana. I want to go to. I want to see black people.
It's a fact.
I want to see black people. I mean, like, I want to go to Muslim countries for
the culture, right?
For the culture and the purpose of bringing me closer.
To
the religion. I feel like being here in America is very hard. It's not hard. Nothing is hard, but it is challenging.
That was my word.
Yeah, it's hard. But it is challenging when you're faced with the complete opposite of your way of life. Like the American way of life is not necessarily the same as Eastern way of living. And we see that all the time when foreigners come over here and they're like, "Oh my God, y'all live like this."
And you know it's crazy what I find interesting with America and foreign countries, how America is supposedly the greatest country in the world and everything is like so perfect here, but when foreigners from like third world countries come here, they thrive. So they thrive, bro. Is
honestly, I know why now, and I understand. Like Costa Rica taught me that. Like I feel like Costa Rica gave me patience, resilience, because they don't have everything at their disposal or their fingertips. But then also, they understand what's more important. What's the most important thing in the world, and it isn't money. It's love and it's connection and it's family, it's community, and
definitely connection, bro.
Yeah, it takes a village, and they find their village when they're here. They got that commonality where it's like, all right, you from where I'm from, all right, cool. I had neighbors upstairs in my apartment. There was like, how many people were living in that? It's like a 2-bedroom apartment. There had to have been like 12 or 13 African people living in that one apartment.
Yeah.
Not all from the same family neither. Different families or whatever. They sleep there, they get up, they go to work. One apartment, 2 bedrooms, one bathroom.
That's how they do it, bro.
They get up, they go to work, whatever. And I'm like, when I was in Costa, I'm looking at them, everybody's, happy, they're living life. You can't even order a bed online. You can't, there's no mail. There's no mail that comes directly to this specific part of the island.
They don't even have addresses and shit like that.
And I'm like, all right, but they're happy.
It's a fact.
And they got each other's back. And I was like, that's all that really matters. And the money is fake, money is it's time.
It's bullshit.
And it's like, how do you spend your time? Are you spending your time making memories? Are you spending your time? I think that's where the most value is how you spend your time and who you spend your time with. You're going to spend time with folks who are on the same path, who are going to lift you up. Or like us Americans, you're going to spend time with people based off of like superficial things. And I feel like even like growing up as a kid, I feel like we're conditioned that way. I'm filled with a lot of this experience of the world from growing up with like these Muslim kids from all over the country or all over the world, that when I went back to my public school friends, I wasn't cool enough because I didn't look cool. But I'm like, but this guy looks cool, but he's not filled with nothing.
It's a fact.
Damn, this thing is still going. I feel like I should talk about music.
You say your music?
No, because Yolamido keeps playing. It's my alarm.
Nah, we could definitely go back into the music and like, the vision that you have for yourself and
honestly, I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing.
What I like about you. You're a free spirit. I feel like wherever you go, you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. Like, and a lot of people struggle with that, with branching out. I should say.
My mom showed us this thing this morning. My nieces and nephews and my uncle and my sister were all sitting around the TV, and it was like, "Where is the cheese?" or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's like these two characters. There's two separate sets of characters. And one set of characters, they're ambitious and they're go-getters, and they were just conditioned to be active and search for the wonders of change and what they bring. And then there's the other two characters who, when they find the cheese, they get comfortable and they're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna go there every day because the cheese is right there every day. And then they move the cheese. And then they get back there and they're like, yo, where's the cheese at? And one homie is like banging his head up against the wall, scratching through the wall, like, yo, like I feel like I gotta get out of here because there ain't no cheese. And I'm not going back out there to go find more cheese. I had cheese and they took it away.
It's a fact.
And then his companion is like, well, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm gonna go find some cheese.
I'm gonna go with that.
I'm gonna find some cheese. And I feel like I've been blessed enough to be around people to spark and influence that in me. To be fearless enough, because it takes courage to be like, I'm not gonna sit in the same spot, and I'm gonna try something different, and I'm gonna see where it goes. And I mean, I'm the type of guy that I'll quit a job in a heartbeat. I don't care. I'll quit a job in a heartbeat.
I quit too.
Yo, listen, I'll be like, hey.
I quit too with no plan but to buy a house.
Exactly.
Yo, take it from there, bro.
Dude, I quit one job and I was like, it felt like the center of my universe. It felt like everything I had was dependent in this place.
Yeah.
Free meals, and they taking care of me. And when I quit, I was miserable there. And when I quit, no plan, no backup, no nothing. It was the happiest I had ever been. The happiest I ever been. My skin was on fire. Yeah. I was like so elated. And I realized I was like, change is good. Like, there's always something better out there. Like, there's always some adventure to explore that's gonna shape me. Like, it's gonna change me.
It's a fact.
And I can't wait to see who the hell I become.
It's a fact.
Like,
as long as you stay true to who you are and don't let things change you for the worse. You know what I mean? Stay positive. You know what I mean? Like, you could have quit that job and realized, okay, I have no plan, and then like within the first week went back to the job or something. You know what I mean? But
I was thankful enough to, and it's crazy that I didn't necessarily, I wasn't surrounded by people who were in a positive mindset to be able to do that. Okay. But then I found myself alone, and I would write on my wall, everything's gonna be okay. I would write it on my mirror. Everything's gonna be good. You amazing. You great. You got this, et cetera, et cetera. And every day I walk into that bathroom and I looked at that mirror, had no choice but to read those words. And I was like, you know what? Because the people around me aren't giving me the energy or the confidence that I need to be like, all right, cool, you made the right decision. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna tell myself. And that's what I do every time, every chance.
You know what that is? That's a form of self-love, bro. It's a form of self-love.
Can I tell you, I never felt like I've always been insecure. I've always been extremely insecure. And self-love is a tricky topic for me. I never recognized that.
I'm still working on that myself, bro. I feel like everybody, if they're honest, is a little insecure. A lot of people, they mask it with, the people they keep around them or social media posts or, you know what I mean? Things like that. But to really be in tune with yourself is a different blessing. It's a different feeling.
No, you're right. I mean, social media is doing that to a lot of us more and more.
Yeah, as the days go on, man, everybody's hungry for likes.
This thing won't turn off. I don't even know how to.
Everybody's, I feel like, is just hungry for likes. And
I mean, because now they see, and
social media is not bad within itself.
No.
Because
I feel like the way we use it.
Yeah.
The way we use it is
I've made
toxic.
some dope connections off of social media. People that I will like always have in my life. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like online gaming.
Yeah,
You know, I got
fact.
boys from like 20 years ago. I'm like, yo, we've been playing the same game for years.
That's a fact, bro.
But I feel like when the difference between like online gaming is that you don't necessarily, there's no comparison. There's no compare and contrast.
Yeah.
There's no, this got more likes than that. You know, it's just connection.
And you know what's crazy about that? It just hit me when you said that. The metaverse is those two things together. Online gaming and social media.
I'm terrified of the metaverse. And I mean, maybe it's because I've been closed in for the course of 2 years.
It came at the wrong time. Because everyone's been bundled up, everyone's been working from home, and now the metaverse. Now we're still gonna be home when we're free. It's like that experiment they did with the cats where they'll just like have them locked up for ages, and then they'll open the door and they can leave, but they don't leave because they're so used to being inside now.
Yeah, and with the metaverse, honestly, it's not even. I'm fighting for my own attention. I'm desperately fighting for my own attention. My phone broke a couple months ago. First it went off. I couldn't afford to pay the bill. I've put everything I had into my music. So when things started to shut off, I didn't stop it. I was just like, I got music. I'm like, I don't need a phone. I mean, I do, yada, yada, yada. But I'm like, in a sense of like, what's more valuable? And I figured I invested in what's way more valuable to me. Not having the newest phone, none of that. So when it broke and the service stopped and I couldn't replace it, I didn't bother chasing after it.
Yeah. Cut out all the fluff.
Yeah. And it let me connect back to myself. But then I started playing video games. And at first, like, I was in a relationship before and she would look at me like, you play this thing all the time. And I didn't realize, I was like, I'm addicted to this thing. I was like, I'm addicted to it. And when I like was playing the game one day, sitting there, got my hands out, and I went to like put the controller down. And I looked at my hands and I was like, I'm fucking handcuffed. It's like I'm legit handcuffed. My hands are locked right here. And my eyes are locked right here. I was like, there's no free space for me to do anything else. My mind's not thinking anything. My body can't do anything else because my hands, my extremities are stuck on this game. And I was like, I looked at the time that I put into it. 20 hours in a week. I'm like, hold up. How many hours did I put in my music?
Yeah.
How many hours did I put into my health? How many hours did I put in? Then I started looking at all my stuff. Looking at the screen time I got on my phone. Looking at, how much time I put into other people's lives on social media. Not even necessarily just posting, responding, and then getting off.
Yeah.
Nah, but how many times am I going like this? And just constantly going and going and
scrolling for days, bro.
And I'm like, oh, I felt like God took my phone away for a reason. For me to look back and be like, yo, listen, do you want to spend your life locked up looking at somebody else's life? Or do you want to spend it focusing on what you got in here? And the more I connect with myself, the more I could be honest with other people. But the more I distract myself, the more I'm like, I don't even know who I am. I don't have time to connect with who I am, what I like, what I love. I feel like there's only these things like TV and video games and stuff like that. It can only spark so much passion in you. And then it's like when it stops or when it's done, then what? And thankfully I found music. Thankfully I have music and I have my family and I got my faith, I got my religion. But honestly, like in the last 5 or 6 years that I was like this until it stopped, I wasn't connected to any of those things. I probably hadn't been back and forth to Philly this often to see my family since before, even during the pandemic. I wasn't. I mean, like when the pandemic slowed down, I wasn't here. And I had to ask myself why. I was like, I'm distracted or I'm not connected.
Yeah.
Because like I'll spend 6 hours on, freaking watching a Netflix series. And
it's another thing.
Yeah. And I'm like, I could talk to my mom for like 30, 40 minutes a day here and there. That's a TV episode. You get me? Like, I can journal and really find out what's going on inside of me for at least 2 hours. How long I played a game of Madden and it lasts me an hour.
Yeah.
And then I run a rematch and it lasts me another hour.
It's a fact.
I'm not off to the extreme where I'm like, I don't want to live in this technological world. But being in places like Costa Rica or London, it allowed me to realize that, one, my time is the most important thing that I have. My attention is also the most important thing that I have. And that everything in this world is fighting for it. They're fighting for my time and they're fighting for my attention. And when the fuck am I going to start fighting back?
I don't even want to continue, bro.